Here's a skirt that I want to recycle. Now it has a single pocket right there, and I could use the top of this for the front of a skirt, but I just think this tiny little pocket just looks a little bit weird. So I think I'm going to actually use the bottom part of the skirt to make an apron out of this, and I'll probably cut it somewhere about here. That's the front of the skirt. Right, here's the back of the skirt. Now this has got these two big pockets. It's a better size, but the problem is it's got these flaps and it doesn't look like a front pocket, and that might be kind of annoying for an apron. If I took that off, you'd have this dark fabric up here where it hasn't washed out. Use this part right here, and it's kind of nice to have the seam in it, and that seam, you know, some characteristics of denim. So I could probably make 2 aprons out of the skirt, and like I probably picked it up at the thrift store. I probably paid less than $4 for the skirt, so if I can get 2 aprons out of it, that's $2 invested. Cut it up a little higher. This bottom section will be the apron. And I need a waistband, so I think I'm going to actually cut it out off the bottom, because this is plenty of length for an apron. I want to cut off, first of all, I want to cut off the hem, because I don't feel like tearing it up. Besides, it'll leave some odd coloring on the fabric. And then I want a waistband. And I think I want my waistband, I want a 1/2 inch, about an inch. Yeah, about 2 inches would be good. And I know this will be too long, but I will cut it to be the right length that I want. So that's going to be our waistband, but I'm going to shorten it. Now I want this to be rounded, so I'm going to go like this, and I'm going to cut it sort of in a curve, because I just like the apron to have a curve on it. I just think it looks cute, because I want to put a ruffle around the edge. Okay, so there's the bottom of our apron. Don't like that point. I'll just round that slightly. So I guess we'll just keep it just like that. So we have a waistband, skirt. Alright, I've decided I'm going to keep the top. That's going to be the second apron. I'll put that away for now. And I will use this bottom part for the bib. So I'm just going to cut this in half. I know it's too big. This is the apron, the waistband, and we'll make the bib out of this. First I want to take off all these. Oh, I could have left that. That's alright. I want to use fabric anyways to give it some accents. And so I want to make sure all my edges are matching. Okay, that looks good. Just need to decide how high it needs to be. This will be my accent fabric. Red with black polka dots. And I might use some black lace for trim. And that will go with this. Now I need a pocket. So we have this leftover piece. I can get a pocket out of this. And you know what? I think I might save this part for the bib, well, let me see, I'll think about it. How about a pocket, a mini pocket on top of a bigger pocket? Now that would be interesting. I think I'll do that. So we'll make a pocket out of here and a pocket out of here, and then I'll have 2 aprons. So first of all, let's get this cleaned up. need to have some straight sides here. Alright. Make a pocket. I'll probably put some accent trim on. So I don't need it to be too tall. And that's a little bit narrow, so a little bit wide, so we'll narrow it up and straighten it up a little bit. Okay, here is the one apron, and it will have this for accent material. Okay, that's one apron. All right, we have skirt front, bib with the pocket, the straps, and we don't need a waistband because we're going to use that. This is the back of the skirt. So there's our second apron. So we have two aprons, and this is what's left over of that skirt, and this is all trash and an extra strap for something else. So this is how I finished off the edges. This is going to be the top, and this is the side. And the way I did it, I put my fabric wrong side and sewed a 5/8 of an inch seam, and then I pressed it. And then what I'll do, because I don't want to fold over the denim, I want to just keep the edge of that denim. So fold it like this and like that. You see that this is extra big. So because I like to do the top stitching, I'll press this before I sew it. I like to do the top stitch here so I can see it. So that way we'll have a finished edge on both sides. And that will be our bib. So there's our bib. I did the same, I put the ribbon on the same way. So we've got a finished edge here, right side to wrong side, and then flipped it over. And this will be our pocket. I'm not going to put this on yet, because I would like to monogram the pocket or personalize it or put an applique or some sort of decoration on it. And then when I put it on, I'm going to use the denim thread and do 2 rows of stitching to give it, you know, to staying with that denim look. I have it all pinned, folded over twice, so I can put a finished edge. Now, one of the problems with working with denim, since I have this seam right here, this is quite thick. I'm going to show you how to deal with that. The trick is a hammer. See that thickness? We're going to make it thinner this way, so it's not so thick right there. Much easier to run through the sewing machine when you have seams like that. And if you're worried about messing up the fabric, which I'm not when it's denim, because you can see there's all these lines, this discoloration. So I'm not concerned with denim, but if you want, you could put a piece of fabric over it to protect it when you're hammering. The sewing machine went over that without any trouble at all. Now, so I have a finished edge, and you're probably wondering, why didn't I use the denim thread to make it match that? Because this is actually going to be covered up. I wanted a finished edge on the inside. I'm going to be adding a type of ruffle that's going to be just sewn right on top. See, I didn't want to sew the ruffle into the edge and then fold it over, because I don't want to have to fold over the denim. I'm working with heavyweight denim and a light cotton, and so I didn't want to, you know, ruffle it and gather it attached to this, and then I'd have raw edges. I like finishing it this way, so I have the finished edge. You can see the finished edge. And that way I don't have to worry about any raw edges showing when I add the ribbon on. The ribbon is going to be attached on the top. It'll be finished, the ribbon will be finished on both sides of the ribbon, and it will be gathered sort of in between, more on the upper side, close to the edge. And then it'll just be sewed on top of here. And then when you look on the back, you'll just have this finished edge and the waistband on. Now I'm going to attach the bib, and I'm using for a backing my accent fabric, and I'm going to also sew this on at the same time. So I'll have a start on that. So we'll just pin these layers together. This will be in the inside. It won't show, it'll be down underneath. And that's what the waistband looks from the front. Now, I am going to do the denim stitching, top stitching around the waistband once I have it all together. But I need to add the straps first before I finish that off. Let me show you the other side. See, I sewed it like that. This will be folded in, and then I just have to roll this under so it lines up with the seam here and pin it. And I'll probably not do it with the blue thread, the black thread, blue thread, but I'll probably wait till I do the top stitch to have that stitched down. Or I could hand baste it so that you don't see the stitches, but why do an extra step when you could do it all at once? And I'll wait till I do the top stitching. So I'll just pin this down after I get my straps on. Now for the straps, I want to show you how to turn it inside out. I use a bodkin. It has a little, it's got little teeth right there that grips the fabric, and then you slide this up and it closes it so it holds the fabric. So what I do, this is really long and they can be a pain to turn. I didn't know how to do it when I first started sewing, and this is the thing I hated the most, but now I use a bodkin. I stick it in there and I put some fabric between the teeth, a good amount of fabric so it's got a good grip. Close it, and then I feel for the little ring and I slide the little ring up so that the teeth are closed, and then I can just push the bodkin through the fabric, and I'll do a little at a time. Then I'm holding it. I can feel it. See, it's right there. I'm holding it, and then I can just pull the fabric like this to kind of get it started. Do a little at a time because this is really long, and just keep pulling a little bit more. I think I might be able to get it. No, not quite. Gotta add more space. Push it through, and there's my bodkin. Come back here and just kind of pull this end a little bit. And when I get enough of it through, I can just grab the fabric. See how it's kind of knotted up on the end? So it's a good idea to kind of ease part of that out. Sometimes you get a little knot at the end, just because I pulled it too much at once. Okay, so grab a little bit and come on, come through. That's why it's a good idea to do a little at a time. Now, come on. It's stuck somewhere. Okay, there we go. Now I got it. There we go. And that is how you do it. That's the fastest way to turn it. Now I just want to press my seams so the seam is on the edge here. Just want to press it, and then we can attach it to the end. Finish off the end, since we're open on both ends. What I do is I just kind of fold it in, try to fold it inside of itself, and I will just stitch across the bottom so that we have a finished end like that. We only need to do that on one end. The other end can stay a raw edge. We're going to attach it to the apron, the strap to the waistband. This is a little bit wider than the width of our waistband. See? So what I'll do is I'll make a little fold here so it fits. Now this is going to be folded in like this, so I want to attach my apron strings right here, and I want to put a couple of good stitches to make sure that's solid. And then this will be the what you would call the lining. We'll fold that over. Hold on. pin it just like that. And that's how we will attach. Okay, so I made a little loop. When I did my strap, I did it all at once, and then I just cut off what I needed. It's attached to the front, and I just folded it underneath so that I have, you know, no raw edges anywhere. With the strap, I have a raw edge here, so I'm just going to fold it over like this, and then I will sew it on. And I like to make this sort of a country, I don't know, reminds me of country. It's a box and it's got an X in it, and it's part of the decor. It's not that noticeable. And I do it inside. I don't want to do it there where all the thickness of the fabric is. I could do it on the inside like that. And then I'll have to finish off this edge by rolling it a couple of times and sewing the end on, and that keeps it from falling out of the loops. But that will be the straps for the bib to the top of the apron. The straps are on, and it is adjustable just by sliding the fabric. You know, that way you can make it tighter or make it looser. It's up to the person. So that part's done. Now when I sew the strips together to make the ruffle, I want to have a nice finished seam. This is called a French seam. There's no raw edges because I don't like fabric to unravel. So to do that, you sew wrong sides together, and sew a narrow seam, and then you flip it over and you fold it like this, and you do another seam here, and now it's right sides together. And that's how you get that finished seam, so there's no raw edges. Look, I have the strips sewn together, and I have finished off one side. Now I like the ruffle to get thinner as it comes up to the side, so I'm going to taper this side to make it more narrow, so that it gradually gets narrow as it comes up to the waist, because I just think it looks cuter that way. So I had it folded together like that. Now I'm going to finish off this edge. I should do this too. So I have a finished edge here and a finished edge all the way around. So here is the apron. The ruffle is attached on the front. You can see it's got a little edge on the side, and that's why that edge is finished. There are 2 rows of stitching here, and I have the sides tapered so they're skinnier at the waist, and the back side, you can see there's 2 rows of stitching, 1 row here and then 1 row here, just to give this a nice finished edge. And so that's why there are 2 rows of stitching. So we have it, a cute little apron. I haven't done the top stitching here yet, or here, because I need to personalize the pocket. I want to monogram the name of who it's going to, and then I will do the denim stitching there, and at the same time I will do the denim top stitching here so that it will match the stitching that's here. The top stitching is now done with the denim thread. The pocket is attached because the monogramming is done, and so we have a finished apron. This whole project costs less than $10 to make.